Hello. Welcome to a brief overview of the LabClarity module. LabClarity is a helpful cost analysis tool for small to medium-sized labs who want to better understand the cost effect of conducting near-patient testing in their lab and then enable those labs to explore various ways in which they can improve the efficiency of their lab testing activities by changing a variety of variables and seeing the real-time impact of those decisions on the business of running the lab. LabClarity was developed not as a 100% accurate accounting program, nor intended to replace standard accounting procedures, but merely a tool for providing insight for lab managers and/or owners to explore ways to maintain or improve the business of their testing activities. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using an existing account that has data already populated. First-time users who log into LabClarity, you will be setting up your information from scratch. Let's begin. This is the home page for the LabClarity module. Once you register, you'll come in and you'll enter your username and password. As I mentioned, I'm going to be using an existing account for this demonstration, so I'm going to go ahead and put that information in. I'm going to log on to the system, and when I come in, you'll see I have a dashboard that is speaking to first-time users and returning users. If you're a first-time user, we give you a little bit of information about the process you're getting ready to go through. You'll have a checklist. You'll build your profile, which your profile is your current standing today in terms of dollars and cents related to your lab testing activities. And then once we have that profile established on how you're operating today, we'll allow you to go in and start making changes to things in terms of the number of tests and decisions that you make to explore how they're going to affect your profit or loss. Here on the right, for returning users, is the original profile listed first. This is that baseline that I had created, and then I had run a scenario already, so as you create scenarios, you'll be able to label those and save them, and you'll be able to refer to those in the future and click here to go back to them. For this demonstration, let's take a look at how you would build a profile. So first-time users, you'd come in and click Begin. We give you a checklist. There's a lot of information related to expenses and operating data that you're going to need to collect. We break the list down into two sections. There's test-specific information and then common business expense information. There may be one individual within your laboratory who tracks all of this, or you may need to split that up with a technical person doing the test-specific information and perhaps an administrative person handling the common business expense items. If you're not sure exactly what we mean by the items that are listed, you can roll over these and it'll break down and give you a little more detail for exactly how we want you to calculate that information. As well, you also can download this information in a PDF form and print it out if need be. Once you've got all of that information and come back here, you can click Ready, and this will take us to the profile builder. So you'll see it starts with common expense related information. Again, this is an existing account. If this was your first time, all of these fields would be blank. But you'll see I have common expenses, and then each of these bars down here represent a specialty area that is in my laboratory. For my lab, I have hematology, chemistry, microbiology. We always have a miscellaneous for any tests that you feel don't fall neatly into a specialty area. Your first time here, there would be several additional specialty areas. Once you complete your profile and come back, as we are doing now, it'll hide those from you since this is my current state. So let's start with common expenses. I need to tell where my lab is located, what state. That'll help set the reimbursement costs for my state. I will need to put in my CLIA/COLA fees, proficiency testing fees, and my lab computer or LIS if I have one. And I will start to build my staff that is related to lab testing activities. So I can add an employee. You'll see it comes in with a generic label. I chose to use actual names in my examples. You could use simply staff member 1, staff member 2. You could use an employee ID number just for privacy concerns if you have an office with a computer screen that's open to employees. You'll put in annual cost, and you'll put in your percentage of time they spend testing. You can factor in annual cost based on whatever expenses you prefer. Once I'm done with this information, I can click Next, and you'll see I moved to my first specialty area, hematology. If I did not perform hematology in my lab, if this was my first time, I could skip it by just hitting next and moving to the next specialty area. For this, you'll see I'd want to build my test roster. I have some tests already in here, and it shows the name of the test, the number of tests I perform annually, and the reimbursement amount for each of those tests, and then the cost per test. I enter that information in. Let's show you how you locate a test. Let's say I'm looking for an assay. So as I begin to type, you'll see the list builds in front of me, and the more I type, the smaller the number of options that are presented in front of me. I could also type in here a CPT code. Let's say I'm looking for a specific test by CPT. As I type, the list begins to narrow itself down, eventually arriving at the test I'm looking for. I hit the checkbox and I hit Add Test. It's added the test in for me. You'll see down here I need to put in the annual amount of tests. Let's say I do 800 of those. It shows me my reimbursement and what my costs are for that test. So let's say my costs are $2 for that test. And that's how you would add and build your test roster for this specialty area. Let's eliminate that for now. So I hit the red X and it deleted that test. I want to put in my cost annually for my analyzer, my service contract, calibration QC materials, and general test supplies. And I will do this for each specialty area that I have in my laboratory. You'll see as I go through I have a number of specialties set up already. Again, miscellaneous is here. It'll stay here even though I have no tests currently in there. And then finally, once I hit next, the last panel that slides up is a snapshot, and this is showing me, based on the information I put in, where I stand in terms of dollars and cents in my laboratory testing business. So it's giving me a monthly breakdown and an annual breakdown. Items in green obviously are profitable. Items in red are expenses, so it indicate loss. So overall, my total net revenue is roughly $12,000 profit monthly, and on an annual basis I'm doing a little over $140,000. Once I can say that this information is accurate, I can save this, and this becomes my baseline snapshot. It's my profile. If I want to go back up and change something before I save it, I simply click on a bar and it'll spill that panel open so that I can interact with it. So then, once I've saved this snapshot, let's go back to the home page. I can go in and look at the scenario builder, as we call it. So this is my snapshot. It shows currently I'm at a little over $140,000, and this number here will stay the same for me. And then now I get a chance to play around with some different scenarios that I might consider for my laboratory business. We offer a few things that you might want to try, and then you can go in here and begin to play around. So as I select on these tabs, common expenses, let's say that I want to change the amount of time that people are spending in testing. I want to put a little more emphasis on Sarah here because I hired her and she's at a lower cost rate. So I'm telling Sarah that I want her to spend more time on testing, and I'm asking Joe to reduce the amount of time he's spending on testing. So I've cut him in half. So you'll notice as I change things, the items I change here highlight in yellow to let me know what I've done. And then in real time now, I've already seen the impact that this decision has made. I've gone from $143,265, and I've increased my profitability to $144,965 just by asking one employee to spend more time on testing and the other one to spend less. I could see what it would cost me to add an employee in here if I'd like. So then I can move on to another specialty area. Here are my hematology test rosters, and you can see the items in gray I can't affect or change, and then I can play around and say, well, what if I increase the number of tests annually? So let's take that from 750 up to 1,200. Because I'm going to market my business a little better, and I'm going to increase the volume of patients that I see, so the number of tests I conduct are going to go up. So again, I'm going to do that here. Let's take that to 1,200. So you see I've highlighted, and already we've gone up to $153,000. So we've increased by about $10,000 just by a couple tests going up and changing some employee decisions. Let's say perhaps in chemistry, though, my costs are going up. So I'm going to look at chemistry. I'm going to take my costs up to 9. I'm going to take my costs up to 5, and this up to 4. So increasing cost has brought me back down some. I've lost $6,000 because I had some cost increase in my business. Perhaps my annual service contract, I still think I can negotiate a better deal for the upcoming year, so I'm going to get from $5,000 down to $4,000 on my contract. So you'll see the impact of that decision in real time. So you can go through and you'll notice the specialty areas that were not listed in my original profile now are here, because I may want to consider perhaps taking some of those specialty areas, purchasing an analyzer or leasing one, and bringing that in-house. So now I can go ahead and see what the impact of that would be by adding that information here. In essence, this is really the LabClarity module, allowing you to go ahead and take a real snapshot of where you stand today in your testing activities, and then use that information to go in and explore opportunities to improve your near-patient testing.